Life is too short.
It is too short. No, look, really.
Should be going out doing fun things, right?
This is my signature word of the, phrase of the year. Life is too short.
Okay, I like it.
It is. Okay.
It is too short. I just
so we've already established our T-shirt. So just for the audience, I've got a lot going on at the moment. And you're a Newport BJJ. So if you're not watching on YouTube, now you know.
Corporate BJJ. I also, and you can't cut this, right?
Okay.
Audience members, both video and audio, I'm about to do a big reveal.
What?
Yes, I am, Inga Muvern. A big reveal. I've been keeping secrets from you.
Oh.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this? I'm so excited.
Not really.
I am so
at the wrong moment. Okay.
No, I am so excited. I am so excited.
All right. Pod listeners can't see it, so I'll have to describe.
Right, little taggy things are in the way, right? Do you know what this is?
I mean...
Do you know what this is?
I know what it is.
This is... Hang on, I'm going to have to take out my earbuds and everything. I'll be back.
He'll be back. Listeners who are on the pod, he just showed us a black hoodie with a pink, what looks like an audio kind of little signal in hot pink, which is our new On the Reg logo.
Things.
Right?
Hey?
Yes. That is our new logo. Or as they call it in the trade, our new bug. That's the bug, right? Yeah. Looks good.
Yeah,
so it's a squiggle. That squiggle took, don't want to know how many thousands of dollars and time spent in cafes trying to find our vibe. It was quite the thing, wasn't it? That as a project.
I would say we consulted widely with, the support group.
Yes.
And then, you know what actually turned it over, of course, was when we decided, what we need is an actual professional designer just to kind of, we needed an adult in the room to hold our hands. So, so this is the first one. This is a test hoodie, this one. I just wanted to see how it would come out. This is the most expensive hoodie in the world, this hoodie.
So because how much was that hoodie?
You don't want to know.
Don't tell me. Okay, don't tell me.
I paid for this one, so this is not company money. This is like
this is on your personal tax,
personal account. I went highest quality hoodie. Me and Chatty G had a big long conversation about hoodies, and blanks and which are good ones and blah 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 blah. So I found the highest quality one I could, and I found an Australian supplier printing place. You put those two things together, and it's very
a comfy
expensive.
Hoodie. It looks very comfy.
Oh my god, it's so comfy.
Okay,
like
so
this is premium. Yeah. This is premium.
Why not?
Right?
Why not? So, listeners, the colour of our logo was also that the designer did all the things and then said colours, and we're like, we don't know. And then I advocated for hot fuchsia pink because it is the colour that Jason is in our show notes, so that we know which bit is each other's bit. So, inside joke. And you're now a bit used to it. You're a bit like, really? Pink?
Yeah.
Is this what we're doing?
So when I was writing to the designer, I'm like, can you suggest colours, blah, 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 blah. Look, my business partner, she wants hot pink. I'm not so sure, but have at it and see what you come up with. Bugger me, did she come up with some really good stuff.
It looks great. And she's going to do our website. So hopefully by the time we upload this, maybe...
maybe not.
No.
Not
maybe
the
next episode we'll unveil our website and you'll be able to see all the colours. But we'll include a link to something.
Yeah.
We might put it on the Instagrams or something.
Something, yeah. I've got her doing a whole bunch of stuff for us because we're going to QPR, remember?
Quality and Postgraduate Research Conference, the biannual, meaning not twice a year but every 2 years.
Yes.
Conference of research education nerds in Australia, brings people from all countries of the world. Biggest conference of its kind.
We've decided to sponsor a booth. And so I've got Radhika is the name of our designer. She's wonderful. Lives in Perth. Hi, Radhika. Banners, the pull-up banner things.
Yeah, love it. Feeling real corporate.
Yeah. Like a brochure, like a corporate brochure.
Like a proper one? Not something I just knocked up on Canva?
No. No. Speaking of which, I just saw that come through that we just got paid our annual fee for that. We just paid that. Are we using Canva?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Business cards. I've got your business card. And you'll be able to just walk around, just flick them out. Here you go.
And as I said to you, I haven't had a business card for, I don't know how long. I haven't had one from I had one from ANU for ages, but I never used it, so I just didn't bother. But you convinced me by giving me a fun new title.
Yes.
What's my title? Head of Making Things.
No, Chief.
Chief of Making Things. And
you are the Chief of Making. Chief of getting things done.
Yeah, I love it. I love that our business cards are fun.
Well, the inside joke being, of course, with too many chiefs and not enough Indians, since there's only two of us, right?
Yeah. Everything is an inside joke with us. Should we get on with recording this pod? Tell people why we're here.
Let's. Yes. I think, hang on.
Is it me? No, it's you. It's pink.
I haven't even got the show notes up.
Oh, my God. It's such a professional operation. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll get the whole unplugged.
Outfit is this?
You get the whole unplugged on YouTube because I can't be bothered editing it. But we'll cut this bit out in the pod. We make it a little bit tighter for those walking.
But you can't cut out the logo thing. That's great.
No,
Here we go. Diving in because it's hot pink.
Take one.
Welcome to On the Rec. I'm Dr. Jason Downs and I'm here with my good friend, Professor Inga Mewburn from the Australian National University. But she is also better known as @ThesisWhisperer on all the socials, across the internet. And in fact, just the other day, Tuesday, so today's Thursday, I did a workshop for the good people at Queensland Centre for Mental Health Research.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yes, great bunch. And I put up that photo of us, like you and me. And I always ask the question, who's heard of the Thesis Whisperer? And like hands go up and I go, that's what she looks like, right? And then like people are like, oh, it's like they've never seen, like even though your image is everywhere, right? It's like people haven't seen you before. You know, it's
and that's a good picture of us, by the way. Like we are fire in our 50s with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're here, you and I, for another episode of On the Reg, where we talk about work, but, you know, not in a boring way. We are all about practical, implementable productivity hacks to help you live a more balanced life. And this week, we are going to talk all things research project management, because this is an opportunity to shamelessly plug the new book that Inga and her colleagues, Pat Thomson, Helen and Aimee Grant wrote, and has just been published and is live out in the world.
It's called, entertainingly, Research Project. See, this is where I go all funny because it changed titles so many and it ended up with the most boring title ever. So I think it's just called Research Project Management.
I can't believe you don't know.
I know.
Of your own book. Like what?
Is that a flex or is it just weird? Managing your
research project.
Thank you.
I had to find the cover. You'd sent me a photo of the cover.
Unlike Be Visible or Vanish, right, which is the previous book in the series, where we fought to have a title that you can remember that's interesting, this time didn't fight it. Hence, can't remember it. But it's good.
Can't remember it.
We're happy with it. Don't let them judge a book by its boring title. Anyway.
So, managing a research project, subheading underneath that, subtitle, sorry, a guide for researchers, published by Routledge, available in all good online locations and probably your library, hopefully, if university libraries decide to.
Oh, yeah, they usually buy it. Yeah. They usually buy the digital copy. It's, reliably found in university libraries, I would say.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
Yeah.
Of course, I've heard bits of it as it was being, built over the last little while.
I think you heard me complaining about it because I complain about every book I write because I just complain through the whole process. It's a coping strategy. You know?
What I like about your approach to book writing is that you invariably turn to me and say, "This is it. This is the last book I'm ever writing." Like I don't have any more in me at all. And you get about 3/4 of the way through the book that you're writing and hating, and then you go, "I've just signed another book contract with another 4." I'm like, "Did you now? Really? Good job."
Yeah. You'll be pleased to hear I haven't signed another book contract, but I do have another book in the pipe coming out. But I'll talk about that towards the end, but I haven't signed another contract. I've stuck to my guns on that.
All right. Good
Also, no
job.
one's asked, so a book's over. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We could write a book. It'd be fun.
We could. Oh, we will. We have
Right,
already.
okay.
Text Expander for Academics.
Yeah,
We've
great
written
book.
a book. Yeah, it's great.
Great book.
Yes.
Catch me up, Ingo.
Yeah,
How have
yeah.
you been? What's been going on? There's a lot going
So-
on, I can see.
A lot going on at the moment.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift t-shirt, for those of you who know the Taylor Swift coding of this t-shirt from the Red Album. As I said in our previous episode, I took some carers leave. I go back to work next week, but part-time, just 2 days a week for the next 5 weeks. So I'm still burning down some of that long service leave.
Side note, I just sent you an email to your work email address yesterday.
Yes.
Sorry.
I am back there. So I took a peep. I hadn't looked at my inbox for a while, other than strategically, which I'll talk about a bit later, in the arguments that I'm having with my next publisher. We're having arguments. I'll get to that.
Right.
Other than that, I haven't really looked, and I looked and I was like, oh, there's 540 emails in there. And I said very much on my return message, like, all bets are off about whether I answer you or not. We're not coming back and just spending weeks wading through a pile of emails. So good luck with that. If you send me an email and it's not been answered, resend next week, okay? Because likelihood is I'm just going to delete a shit ton of them. And so it's been a uniquely stressful time in my adult life. And for the first time, Jason, since in living memory for me, and I'm 55, I haven't read a book for 3 months.
Wow.
Like I haven't opened one. Oh, I've opened a few and gone, I've read like a paragraph and gone, no, it's like I just bounce. I just can't. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't read romance books, which were my go-to when my PhD was stressful. I went from literature down to, you know how I feel about that. I don't think that they're a lower form of literature. But anyway, I went to romance books, and they've always been a kind of the source of, at least I can read that, like chewing bubble gum. But I can't even read that. I can't watch TV. It's just been so I have no emotional resources, because people in my life need me. I have no emotional resources to invest in a fictional character's trials. I just can't. I just don't care.
Yeah.
And then I also trying to read kind of academic books. Fuck that. Can't do that at all. So it's been a little weird, but also I now see why people don't read.
Yeah.
I also see why they don't read the newspaper. I skim the headlines because, and this is as we know, that fucking guy free zone. We're not going to talk about all the shit that's going on, but there's a lot going on right now. And, and I've been sort of looking at the headlines going, oh, that looks bad. I'm not going to engage. I'm like, oh, this is how most people are. And actually, it's kind of a sensible response.
Yeah.
It's stressful. It's stressful. So what I have been doing, based on our last episode where we talked about fashion influencers, that was the start of me going down a YouTube rabbit hole. I am obsessive YouTube watcher, and I've ended up in all these kind of YouTube subcultures. So
good.
One thing that I didn't discover until after that episode was that I found an app to index my clothes. It's called Indyx with a Y, because of course it is. Okay, on YouTube. You can see, here's my phone. So I have taken photos of all my clothes, right? You've got to watch the YouTube to see that. But it sort of looks like an online shop, right? Like, it's all my clothes with the backgrounds removed. But best of all, stats.
Oh,
numbers?
There's like a bar graph. And
usage.
What is usage?
Cost per wear.
No.
I've nerded out. I currently own, somewhat shamefully, I own 228 items of clothing, but there are 10 coming from eBay, so that's going to be more. And you can also arrange them into little outfits.
Nice. So you just put them together.
Yeah, and then you put it in a calendar, and then it calculates how often you've worn a thing, and then you can go and you can look at you can look at the composition, like how much. Anyway, Indyx with a Y, INDYX. I'm obsessed. Okay, obsessed.
Wow.
Obsessed with this app, and thanks to this app, I also, because I was watching all these YouTube influencers that were using this app, because I'm like, oh, how do I use this app? I just sort of look for it. Anyway, I had discovered a whole world of online reseller YouTube. And so I'm like looking at my wardrobe going, oh, I've got a lot of nice clothes that I don't wear because now I know.
Yes.
Right. What I actually wear and what I don't.
Yeah.
Right. So optimizing productivity in the wardrobe. Right.
Yeah.
So that dress that with that photo of us two together and that's
Yes.
on the front of the pod, that dress was from COS. Yeah. Okay. Love COS.
Yeah.
Love
Sure.
minimalist, beautiful. But way too big for me now with all the GLP kind of slimming that's happened. So I kind of swim in it. I'm like, they might sell it. So I sent that one off the other day to South Australia to a new owner. Got $40 for it. I've ended up selling on YouTube $500 worth of my old clothing.
Wow.
And purchasing way more than $500 worth of other people's old clothing. So that's been a whole thing. So that's what I've been doing for 3 months. That's a long way of saying that's how I spent the last 3 months in hospitals, watching YouTube, buying clothes on eBay, selling clothes on eBay. And eBay rewarded me as the top seller the other day. And I'm like, but there's people who do this professionally for a living. Like, they can't be making much money out of it because... Anyway. That's me.
Without outing you, because I know Mr. Thesis Whisperer does like a listen of the pod, without outing you, does it calculate total cost of ownership of all of these clothes?
Yes, it does.
Were you shocked by the number? Is my next question.
I actually thought I'd spent more.
Okay.
It's under the investment tab because it doesn't say how much you spent. It's an investment.
Right.
And I can say that it's in the tens of thousands.
Dang.
Yeah. So like, not far into the tens of thousands, but it is in the tens of thousands. Look, I have some expensive shoes, Jason. Okay, like I'm a girl.
Okay.
Yeah, like some of my shoes are $500. I have a $500 leather jacket, and I keep things and turns out I'd keep things for a long time as well. That's what else I'm seeing is that, often I'll buy a thing and think I've had that for a while. Look back, I've had it for 15 years. Things I like, I keep, but a lot of things have just passed through. I'm not going to say that I'm great at that either. There's, especially thrift store stuff comes in and goes out, So it's made me really think about my habits. But I wanted to swap from being a mostly bought wardrobe to a mostly thrifted wardrobe. So at the moment, I'm 40% secondhand, 60% purchase, and I want to flip that around. Because there's so much waste in fashion. That's bothered me for a while. And that's one of my values.
Yeah.
So this is also helping me. And selling on eBay is, even if I sell something, I sold my old yoga pants. Will you believe what people buy? They bought my old sheets. My old sheets. I just threw them on the ground, took a photo of them, and said, the lot, $60. Sold them. I mean, they were nice flax French linen sheets. So,
Okay.
I bought later on with the YouTube selling. I'm sorry, I'm getting down a rabbit hole now, but with the YouTube resellers, I worked out that what people actually bought my old sheets for that is a really cheap source of really high quality linen that you can put into making clothes with. So that's probably why someone bought old sheets. So,
right.
So there's a whole thriving kind of do-it-yourself hobby, crafty, very women-dominated a corner of the internet that I have been dwelling in, and it's been my happy place. So, maybe I'll quit my job, get a dog, push that back to July, by the way, in dog news. By the way, that was just too much in all this time. We would have been trying to bring a puppy into this house right now. No. I'm up and back to Melbourne and I'm doing all the things, So, so that I happily become an eBay reseller. I think that's my next career. I used to say romance novelist, but now I think I think I've got a talent for it. Writing the descriptions, right? I write great descriptions. I might include my handle. If I do say so myself, my descriptions are fire because they're, because I'm a writer. I enjoy that.
Are they authentically yours, or have you got a little bit of sneaky chatty G going on?
No. I just like to tell the history of especially that dress I just sent off, the one that's in the pod thing. I'm you can wear this on a 12-hour flight and sleep in it and walk through the airport looking elegant and put together, because that is true. I have slept in that dress all the way to London before. So, so I write little histories of the outfits and and what I've used them for and stuff. So I have a great time with it. Sorry, I went way down a rabbit hole. Like this is, I'm not sure if this is what you signed up for when you came to the pod, but here we are. We know that
Here we are today.
Our audience is divided between those who love the chat and those who are like, what is with the chat? But anyway, so yeah. So as I said, the only kind of work thing I've done is try to keep my eye on the ball with this upcoming second edition of How to Fix Your Writing Trouble, which I will talk about more right at the very end in the 2-minute tip section, because I have a tip from that.
Oh,
but anyway,
you do?
I do. I have
I love that.
quite an important one, actually. And you're going to have views with a capital V.
Oh, okay.
About it. All right, but what about you? Tell me what's happening. I tend to just trauma dump on people when I talk to them at the moment. So you tell me what's.
Okay, so the big news, we alluded to this at the last episode, I think, but I want to call it out because I need people to visit Inga. I'm off to the UK. I've never been to the UK.
Yes, you've never been to Europe, which I find astounding. But anyway, great.
Yeah, no, I went to Barcelona for an academic conference once.
3 days.
But that's and then first academic conference I'd ever been to. And I did what all rookie mistakes when it comes to academic conferences for young academics. I went to the whole thing and didn't skive off and go and visit the city, which I subsequently learned is that's generally what people do. They go to their thing only and then spend the other 4 days walking around the city and enjoying.
Really? Because I'm a bit of a chump. I go to the whole thing. Like,
no,
I might skive off an early afternoon because I'm jet lagged, but no, I go.
No, I got legit laughed at. Right.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude, I think that's rude. You're there to hear other people as well.
Right. A professor, and I did, and I had a great conference, so I learnt heaps, right? But yes, professor just laughed at me. Hi, Martin. How are you? If you're listening.
Probably not.
So I'm off to, for the first 3 weeks of May, I will be in the UK. And I've got some people have written to us and said, hey, come and visit. And I'm super keen to do that. So really keen to understand how people on the other side of the planet live. So if you would like to catch up, coffee, give me a tour of your university or, just tell me where I should go in your local neck of the woods so I can go and just check it out while I'm there, please write to us. You can write to us at pod@ontheregteam.com. And if you just put something like UK trip or UK visit in the subject line, I will know to have a look at that. And then I'll write back to you and we can hook up some time just to kind of hang out and do stuff. So I'm really, really, really super keen. Looking forward to that trip coming up. So a little bit of planning. It's getting close now, so I'm starting to actually do the actual planning and scheduling and stuff.
Yes, and the getting from Australia to the UK right at this very moment, let's hope that all that, a lot going on in certain places of the world that we generally fly over.
I figured they'll just go around it, right?
Yeah.
But just choose a different route. I don't know.
Yeah.
It should be okay.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Dang, I should, in my bujo, I should have a collection for what did we do? What did I do since last time we spoke on the pod? Like, I'm going to write that and put that in my bujo.
I think that's a good bullet journal addition, yes.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of admin. Although I'm busy, we've got workshops and stuff, but it's a lot of admin stuff at the moment. I'm really trying to set up the back half of the year. And so I've been retuning my paperless setup. Yeah. So
we've never talked about paperlessness, have we?
No.
That's a good episode that we should talk about sometime.
Yeah, because there's a whole bunch of automation that you can do just to make your life just a whole lot easier. And so I've re-downloaded Hazel. Have we talked about Hazel? Have you got Hazel?
But I've never used it. So let's do that episode. We'll do it next time.
Okay. And it's been running automation routines for all my documents on my computer. It's been great. But at the same time, I discovered that after 17 years, Inga, my faithful ScanSnap scanner...
You've had it for 17 years?
17 years.
That's like immortality in terms of devices. isn't
Right.
it?
End of life. No longer works. Aged
Damn.
out. The device itself works, but it won't connect to like Mac, Sequoia or Tahoe or any of that sort of stuff.
I
It
always
just
imagine like old electronic devices like that. It's like they speak old-timey English. You know, when you have those time travel movies where people go back and they can't understand people who speak English at them. I imagine that's then they're like, "Ay, that they're ye oldie." I imagine them sort of speaking pirate language. I don't know. That maybe that's just me. I'll shut up now. That's
the
me.
only way I could get it to
Head.
work was to hardwire it in with a USB cable.
Ooh.
And yeah, but that's not useful.
That's not the purpose of it, because it's meant to be like go and scan things all over the place, right?
Right.
17 years. That's a long time. I
17
didn't
years.
even know they were invented back then. That's crazy.
Yep. So I have I've had to order a new one,
Damn.
which should turn up in the next few days. I'm pretty excited about that. So I've gone to the top of the range, like the latest edition of the Scan Snaps. I'm back in Scan Snap world again, hoping that the next one
getting
lasts.
another 17 years out of it somehow.
I don't know, right? I don't know. Made by the good people of Fuji/Ricoh. Good Japanese quality stuff. So hoping
So just
it'll
so
last.
people understand what we're talking about, you're talking about like a little handheld device that you use to scan like documents and things. Like so when you're doing your tax and things like that, and I'm assuming that's what you use it for, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't
Also,
just use your phone with the long press on the Notes app that activates the scanner on the phone? No.
No. I have enough paper come through my life and our business that I do need to do actual scannies. So what I do is
hold this discussion. Yes.
I accumulate it in the inbox and then do it all at once.
Well, let's talk about that next time. Yeah. Like your whole workflow around that. That'd be great.
Speaking of things that broke, the fridge door. So again, this one only lasted 10 years, this fridge.
Hang on a minute. I have actually interacted with your fridge and that seemed like a perfectly functional door. What happened?
It was. I opened the door
Yes.
and it literally came off in my hands. I was standing there.
Seriously?
I was standing there. The whole thing came off. Like it just like detached from the fridge.
And hang on a minute. Hang on. There's a lot of stuff in the door of my fridge.
Yep,
Were you just
all
like,
that
this
stuff.
is suddenly very heavy. What's going on?
I was standing there and I was like, help. Right? And like Jack and Catherine were looking at me going like, what are you doing? And like the milk was in the door, the butter, the cheese, like all that stuff. And I'm just standing there holding this door, just going like, what do we do?
I hope you're extremely and uncannily strong offspring. Jack is he is so strong for how he looks. Like he's got that real, at the moment, string bean, I've grown too much for how wide I am. He's at that stage. He lifted a coffee table the other day. I was like, what the fuck? He's like a superhuman. Like, you imagine him lifting a car off. Like, he does do a lot of sports, but yeah. So did he come and help you with the door?
Yeah, I was just standing there and I'm like, what do we do with this?
I need Jack that's supernaturally strong Jack to actually pick. Wow.
Yeah, managed to refit it,
crazy
but it was like just balancing on a thing. It snapped at the bottom. Anyway, so I had to buy a new fridge. So we've now got another fridge because, as it does.
Same fridge. Like, just...
It's same. It's the same as the freezer now. So before we had a freezer and the fridge that was slightly different.
Yes.
But now we've got they
pleasingly match, right? Oh, that's good. I suppose that's an upgrade.
The last thing that I've been doing is a little bit of community service. So Kath is a member of a running group here.
I've heard about the running group. The running group's been going for a long time.
Great bunch. 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years plus or something this group has been running. And she goes down and she runs with them, during the week or on the weekends or whenever she does it. I don't know. I'm usually in bed, asleep, while she does this. But I ran a Harnessing AI, like a 3-hour introduction to Harnessing AI session with the running group. It's like just, they were interested in AI. They didn't, and some of them sort of didn't really know much about it. And so I said, sure, I'll just run one. So they came around and had coffee and we did a really, really kind of condensed version of Harnessing AI for the running group. And they loved it, right? But what it revealed to me, of course, is that for you and I, we're using AI like all the time to do stuff. But there's still a big part of the population out there who are like, I don't understand this AI stuff. I don't know how to use it. And because of that, I'm too scared to engage with it. Scared's probably a strong word, like, reticent to engage with it because I'm not 100%. Yeah. But I've been getting...
I put myself on mute then.
I could hear you though, so,
I know, but it was telling me... Anyway, that Riverside, please.
I was getting text messages like, thank you very much for all this sort of stuff. And
really?
And so people have been leaning in especially with the image generation stuff. So take a photograph in ChatGPT with your phone of a thing and then ask ChatGPT to replace something with something else. So what would a red couch look like in the corner of this lounge room? Like a red chair?
Oh, I've never thought to use it that way.
Give it a go. It's really good. Yeah.
I'm thinking of putting one of those IKEA red stands in the corner there. I have to convince Mr. Thesis Whisperer that I need a new thing.
This is how you do it. You take a photograph of your room and then you say...
Put IKEA stand number blah, blah, blah in there. That might work.
It might work. I don't know.
It would have been ingested as a thing. But yeah, or you could say put a dog in here. Little white fluffy ones. See what my dog might look like. Amazing.
Right. Because it'll recreate the room perfectly in the next image. And then it just puts in the thing.
Do you know how... Okay, my first job, like architecture job, maybe second job, third job, I changed jobs a lot. I was hot property because I could use the computer, right? And I used to get paid to like patch buildings into, and it would take me sometimes 5 or 6 days longer to construct the building, render it out, and then patch it in. And the hardest part of that was actually patching it into an existing site photo. So imagine there's a bunch of architects now who just go, here's a picture of my building, put it in that. Oh my God. This is the kind of work that I'm glad no one has to do anymore. Like, because it's fucking tedious and terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about this a little bit later if you want. I know we've got a full show and maybe it's not here, maybe it's a later show. But I had cause to read the World Economic Forum's Future of Work 2025 report where they discussed the impact of AI on the workforce out to 2030. And some of the and they listed top 10 jobs that are at risk, top 10 jobs that are going to be hot to trot, all that sort of stuff. Architects were on the at-risk list.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, although they're always at risk. The thing about architecture is when you go to study is that people say don't do it, and they were right. They were right, and I should have listened. Because it's you get paid shit. It's shit pay. It's like the worst paid profession. Everything you think it's going to be from the movies and stuff, it isn't. Yeah. Almost any of those things. And it's kind of, and your job has been eaten by project managers, by outsourcing, by and computers came in. I was sort of part of the first wave of computers coming in, which is why I had such a short-lived but lucrative career in putting buildings into things. And lots of people just left the industry. And I said to Mr. Thesis Whisperer the other day, he was sort of like, because he's a computer coder, should I take up AI? Like, he's sort of like, am I resisting it for no reason? And then I said, it's a bit like AutoCAD, like you're one of those old people. You can pick it up and learn it, like it's easy. But do you want to? And have you got other things to offer? Because a lot of those people just became like wise people in the corner that you'd ask how to do a detail and no one knew that stuff anymore. And when they left, no one knew it after that. Yeah. Right? So anyway, I have a lot of field opinions about architecture. Don't get me started. I could trauma on that. I'm just noticing the time, not to drive the bus or anything.
No,
but we're probably testing audience patience.
Thank you for staying. We appreciate you. Let's move on to the mailbag.
I'm so excited about the mailbag. I actually got a chance to read them, and they're great. They're great.
And the first one's for you, but let me read it in first.
Yes.
This section is called our mailbag section. We love hearing from you all. It is our chance to share some interesting things that our listeners share with us. And the way they do that is they write to us at pod@ontheregteam.com. And I make sure that it makes it to the next episode or the episode after. If you have a look, or I've already put the show notes up for episode 86 and I've started to populate mailbag for that one. But yes, if you write to us, we'll include it in this segment and we'll read them out. And if they're written in black, which this one is, Inga will read it out. If it's written in hot pink, which is our logo now, hot pink, I will read it out. So the first one is for you, Inga.
I'm so excited. I saw that Lynn, I'm not sure if it was on YouTube or something. I think it was on YouTube or LinkedIn. Lynn said, I went to the boring conference. I was like, oh my God, please write to us. I think I said that. If I didn't say it, I thought it. So thank you, Lynn Murphy, for writing to us about that you actually went to the boring conference. Let me read it. So friend of the pod and long-time listener, you've headed it, Lynn Murphy, of University of Sussex. Lynn writes.
Professor Lynn Murphy writes, I was on LinkedIn. Okay. Since Inga asked on LinkedIn for me to send an email that could be read out, here's an email that's too long to read out. It's not too long, Lynn. Like, challenge accepted. Please snippety-doodah. Not gonna. One thing I've realised while writing this email is how much I professionally gained from the conference, the boring conference. Yes, I spoke at the boring conference. Boring 6. To be precise, which is rendered in Roman numerals, which I particularly like that touch because that's a boring way to write numbers, which is the one in organiser James Ward's Wikipedia page photo. So there's a photo, if you want it, we'll include the link. So if you want to see the photo from the conference that Lynn went to, the boring conference, it's on Wikipedia. A bit of history. In quotes, in 2010, after learning that the interesting conference, a day of talks put on by Wired writer Russell Davies, was cancelled, he tweeted jokingly that he ought to put on a boring conference. So that's how the boring conference started. Boring 6 was the best day, in caps. It was held in the lovely Conway Hall, London, the home of the Conway Hall Ethical Society. I've not heard of it, but now I need to look it up. Everyone, I love this so much, Lynn. Everyone got a goodie bag, which included a notebook with a cover photo of the Croydon car park. You haven't been to London. I've been to London. My friends, Nick and James, once contemplated buying a house in Croydon. They couldn't bring themselves to do it because, quote, Croydon is so boring. I grew up in Croydon. In the outer east of Melbourne, and I thought it was the most boring place in the world. So it's not, by the way, but like a photo of the Croydon car park is just hilarious. And 2 badges with the words still and boring and various other stationery. I love this. Throughout the day, Jason Ward was in the corner of the stage doing a jigsaw puzzle. It was live streamed, him doing the jigsaw puzzle, which has to be the most boring live stream except for the famous coffee drip one, which, started the whole live stream thing. During the lunch break, Rodri Marsden from Scritty Politti played Eric Satie's Vexations, which repeats for 18 hours, so we didn't get to hear the whole thing. Oh, my God. I've got such conference FOMO right now. If you're not familiar with Eric Satie's work, it is complicated and kind of interesting, but also kind of boring. I learned things like, Link continues, jigsaw puzzles not having the exact number of pieces it says on the box, street furniture, the brick making industry. Side note, I've been to a brick making factory, stands out as the best excursion I went on during my whole architecture education was a brick making. Actually interesting, but can see how it would be boring. Lynn continues, the carpets of roadside pub chains. This one, she says in brackets, was really moving. And she says, I think you'd love it. I would be like, how is that moving? Now I need to know. Now I'm never going to look at pub carpets the same way. Lynn talked about the word the. Oh, Lynn, what a great thing to talk about. And the whole thing inspired my current book project, which is on hold so she can serve the dreaded ref. Condolences, Lynn. Which starts with a chapter called Flowerbird's Law? Flowerbird's Law. Which is just about the word of, rough translation of flowerbird, anything that gets more interesting if you look at it long enough. Which is true. I mean,
Famous novelist, I'm assuming. Okay, Lynn continues. I first learned about the Boring Conference when James Ward, the organiser, spoke at Sunday Assembly Brighton, which is often called the Atheist Church, but it's more subtle than that. Familiar with the format, Lynn. His talk flew along for 15 minutes and had something like 90 slides, all visual, which inspired me to rethink my use of PowerPoint, particularly for the public talks. Added, he talked about his favourite Boring Conference talk. Okay, this is great. So the organiser of the Borings Conference favourite conference talk was about a man who documented the timing, intensity and quality of his sneezes from 2007 to 2018. There's a web link, sneezecount.joyfeed.com. Lynn says it was probably the best talk I've ever seen, and I see and give a lot of these 15-minute type talk. I can imagine. Okay, to wrap it up, she says the Boring Conference would sell out as soon as the tickets were made available, which just goes to show how into it people are, but it died of COVID, perhaps due to underlying conditions. The BBC Radio 4 program that developed from it was fine, but could not bring the level of joy that came from being in the room with so much enthusiastic nerddom brought. Boring Conference RIP. Lynn said, it was nice to write about this just after being in another Zoom meeting about another set of redundancies. I'm sorry, Lynn, I've been hearing about the UK redundancies, solidarity. Hanging on, Lynn, 2 kisses. Lynn, we love you. I've got nothing to say other than this kind of letter makes every bit of pod back production worthwhile, because it's a lot. It's a lot of hours. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot. Yeah. And thank you, Lynn. We would never have known you. We would never have known about the Boring Conference. We wouldn't have heard about the sneezing paper. And what is it with pub carpets? I'm now going to start taking photos of every pub I go to and the carpet in my Instagram, because I want to know as well. Amazing. Amazing. Side
adjacent knowledge. When I was first out of uni, I was a property valuer for commercial industrial, doing large scale superannuation, insurance, that sort of stuff, right? Like not houses, like big stuff. And one of the jobs that we had to do was Federal Airports Corporation. So we valued all of the airports for the Australian government all around Australia, and so
get out, really?
Yeah, it was good fun, right? So one of the things that I learned was that at the time, that if you walk into an airport and the carpets denote the lease holdings for the airlines in the airports. So in particular, I'm thinking about Alice Springs Airport. So big ones like Melbourne, you've got the whole Qantas arm and you've got the whole Virgin arm, and they don't kind of meet. But in the smaller regional ones where it's just like one airport and planes come in and planes go out. Yeah. So, the Qantas bit where they lease that part of the airport would have one kind of carpet, and then the Virgin Australia or Ansett or whoever it was at the time would have the lease on the other bit, and they would have a different kind of carpet, and it would be like this line down the middle of as you're walking along, right.
Wild.
Carpets.
Carpets. Oh my God,
who
carpets. I'm now obsessed. Officially obsessed. Okay, like sometimes, like when I doubt whether I'm neurodivergent, I just have to have a moment like that where I'm like, what? That must know.
Good stuff. Anyway.
Amazing.
We got more.
We've got more. They're all great.
This one comes from Kevin O'Sullivan. Thanks, Kevin. And he writes, "Hi, Inga and Jason. I listened to your last pod with great interest." Oh, bless. Thank you.
Love that. Thank you.
And agreed wholeheartedly with your comments, well-placed rant, on the anti-AI vitriol in academia.
It's like real.
Yes, real. Like many, I might not go as far as you both do in how you utilise AI, but I certainly don't think it's in any way useful to demonise large language models and their uses in the way that many academics do. Offline, Inga, I do need to talk to you about a particular academic who is doing that a lot, which I think... I thought of your pod today as I read the responses on Blue Sky to the American Historical Association's new guidelines for AI in history in the classroom. I mean, it's one thing to disagree with something, but the nature of the response here seems to be all out of proportion to a genuine attempt to set some ground rules and parameters for use. Have a look if you can stomach it. And
I had a look.
There's a link.
I had a look on Blue Sky, which I must admit I don't go to because it's so preachy. And I'm like, oh, this is why I don't go to Blue Sky.
Right, I had a look too. I mean, like, they came at it, right? Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Flying squadrons.
Yes.
Wild. Yeah.
Kevin continues. It made me think of something that another historian, Niels Gilman, wrote about large language models and the historic profession, that much of the criticism mistakes the users for the tools. As Niels points out, we will ultimately always need the skills of the human in the loop, that is the critical eye of the historian and their ability to analyse, contextualise and synthesise sources. But large language models will change how we relate to those sources. His comparison of large language models with the arrival of JSTOR is quite apposite, I think.
And the word apposite, by the way. Hard word to use in a sentence. The word apposite, hard word to use in a sentence. Excellent use of it there, Kevin. Respect, mad respect. I haven't had a chance to read that yet, but thank you. We'll include the link to that Substack. Yeah.
Anyway, it's now so bad in my discipline that I'm wondering if I should ask you to withhold my name. Oh, dang. For fear of backlash.
Yeah.
But that would be stupid, he said.
Brave, Kevin, brave.
On you, Kevin. Thanks forever for all the great work. I've signed up for Ko-Fi. I hope it helps. All the best, Kevin. Kevin, it does bloody help.
It does bloody help. Kevin, just mad respect, basically. You know, we've got to keep our heads in these times. Like, there's a lot of hysteria on both sides of this.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to just be the one going, well, it's useful for some stuff, and then get your head bitten off. And you just get to the point where you don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
And that sort of breeds resentment within communities, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You don't want to talk anymore about the person that you're noticing. If it's the person I'm thinking of,
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I'm finding the historical comparisons of mid-last century to our current times, by actual historians who are like, hey, we've seen this before, people. Really, this is what it kind of looks like. Just slightly terrifying at the moment. So mad respect for the historians. They're like scientists with climate change. They're trying to warn us. Don't look up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think too, not to want to bring in, and we try to create a safe zone here where we don't talk about the troubles in the world.
Yes.
But I did notice that something that happened the other day was a drone attack on a data centre that took the data centre down in Dubai so that people couldn't pay for things with their card.
Oh.
And you briefly couldn't buy any of my books from Amazon.
Oh.
Yeah, and books published outside of the US on non-US stores went down. That's what I heard. I didn't verify this for myself, but, because bullshit flies around on the internet, so I'm not sure that's true. But it is the sort of thing that can happen when data centres are taken down. And it really made me think, about the Luddites going and smashing the looms back, in the day. And the smashing of printing presses and... we're sleepwalking into a future like that where, and I read something about our favourite friend, Mr. Musk, opening Colossus 2, an enormous data centre somewhere on the east coast, I think, of America, in an area where already the air pollution is so bad that they're quite actively kind of trying to take steps because it's causing cancer.
Yeah.
I mean, get fucked. So they're actively trying to take steps to kind of, and he's just he installed these gas turbines without any kind of regulation, just put in massive gas turbines. So we're alive to all of that, aren't we? And I actually was listening to a totally unrelated podcast the other day, and they had some rando, it was the Focus Group podcast by Sarah Longwell, where she plays snippets of just random Americans talking about their own politics, which is an eye-opener. And one of them said AI, a surprisingly wise thing to say, I thought, amongst all the stupid things I was saying about crypto and stuff, was that AI is kind of like a tractor in agriculture.
Yeah.
And, before the tractor, we had a lot of people pulling ploughs and stuff, and all those people no longer pull ploughs. So,
horses.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I thought, is AI kind of a tractor in my work life. I'm like, yeah, it's actually probably one of the better analogies.
Yep.
It does a lot of the tractor work.
Yeah, my thinking around AI has changed over time. It's gone from, hey, look at this cool thing that it can do. Wow. And like, I still have those moments, right? Like
Sure.
push back from the
jump back
desk
from the
and
keyboard. Yeah.
You go, ooh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
To thinking about it conceptually in terms of scale and speed. Like they're the two things that this brings to whatever it is that you want to do. Like I've gone from, I used to write this report and it used to take me 6 hours to I now write the report and it takes me 40 minutes. Like, but, and how cool is that? But it's not just that. It's like, multiply that across multiple things that you do, right? And then on top of that, like you can get lots of people to do it in the same kind of way. And you have this kind of scale and speed element to it. So like very much like your tractor in agriculture, right? Like it just it's like a power up in a game, right? Like in a video game.
Or like a force multiplier, right? Like a force multiplier. But are we we're definitely producing more words than we want to read already. So like it's like, it is so interesting. But you can have interesting conversations like the one we're having when you don't sort of jump to one corner or the other.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, Kevin's point, right? Like if you jump into one corner or the other and into this binary thinking, it rapidly gets boring and not in a good boring way like pub carpets.
Yes. Yeah. The other element of it is that I'm trying to imagine what the counter argument is going to be and how that will eventuate. And I think it's going to be so incredibly narrow. It's going to be like, it's all bad because of this one narrow, really kind of element of it all, and wave the hands at everything else. But this bit of it's so bad, so we shouldn't engage with any of it. Like that's my prediction. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah,
and because like it is like the autonomous weapons targeting discussion is like we've seen Terminator. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, anyway, okay. Yeah, we could go on. Thank you, Kevin. Though solidarity in the sitting with the difficult grey nuanced discussion rather than retreating to opposite corners, because being a booster, unapologetic booster, is also nauseating. I find that all terrible. Anyway.
Yeah.
We've got one more, don't we? Am I reading this one out?
It's in black.
Yeah. And the next one is from friend and long-time listener Ben Archer. Hi, Ben. Thanks for listening. Ben writes, hi, Inga and Jason, loving the show, and I'm still waiting for the inevitable 4-hour-long episodes that I could listen to on my drives to and from Sydney. Look, Ben, like this one's shaping up to be that, so let's see if we can bring it into normal parameters. You look worried there.
Sorry, son, number one son is just sending me text messages. Sorry, folks, I just need to deal with this.
Right.
But carry on. Keep reading Ben while you do that.
Because you've read it. You know what Ben's.
I know what Ben's saying.
Okay. You may want to mute your mic, colleague. You've muted your mic. Okay, it's just me. Hello, listeners. He's distracted. I could say anything I want to at this point. He's laughing, but he's still just distracted. Okay. Ben writes, hi, Inga and Jason. Loving the show and still waiting for... I read that bit already. Okay. This one could be 4 hours long, Ben. Just dial in. Lock in, as the Gen Z say. Ben writes, I wanted to get your perspective on something I've been grappling with lately around digital hygiene and maintaining focus. I currently have one do-everything work device, which has been convenient, but is becoming a major distraction issue. Every time I sit down to write, my machine automatically opens Teams, Discord, Outlook, and our university's LMS. By the time I close everything down, I've inevitably checked on all these platforms and often fallen down a rabbit hole that derails my writing flow entirely. Yeah, well familiar with that. And there's not a lot you can do, Ben, when you've got a managed machine and it just does it. You sometimes can't turn those settings off. So sympathies. Ben writes, I'm considering a potential solution, but wanted to run you both by it. First, investing in a separate dedicated writing device. The idea would be to keep my current setup as my main work machine, but use the writing device purely for focus work. I'm also thinking about splitting my AI tool usage, keeping Claude as my writing companion on the dedicated device, while using ChatGPT or Copilot for general tasks on my main machine. While I really enjoy working with Claude, I've noticed that other AI tools sometimes have broader capabilities for certain tasks, so this division might actually optimise my workflow across different types of work. What are your thoughts on this approach? Have either of you experimented with dedicated devices for specific tasks? Eager to hear your thoughts. Thanks, Ben. Are you back in here, colleague?
I am. Probably might still get dinged, even though I've turned on Do Not Disturb. Of course, the family can always reach me with Do Not Disturb. So
that's the point. Yes.
Yeah. So sorry for that, folks. Ben, let me tell you, I have played with do we centralise or decentralise our tools for probably the last 20 years, trying to figure out what the best way is around these sorts of things. I think I'm going to come down on right tool for the job, separate tools for separate jobs. I say that kind of advisedly because there's enough in our work, like as academics, where we don't necessarily just turn off our job, when we kind of walk out the door. And there's enough there of that kind of crossover that bleeds into one another that makes this whole thing really, really frustrating. Yeah. My most recent experiment with this is keeping ChatGPT and Claude separate. So doing different things in those two different AIs. And that kind of worked pretty well, but I mean, each AI is slightly different. They have different affordances, and so you kind of there's that kind of, I sometimes take from ChatGPT and then put it into Claude to do stuff. Yeah. But I ultimately am a fan of, okay, let's kind of gird our loins for the next hour or so. I'm just going to do writing. So I'm going to clear my desk of everything else, have just the writing tools in front of me and just do the writing bit. Once that's done, close it all down. Okay, now what's the next thing that I have to do? And then kind of reopen that. The first time I came across this approach was when my first real job as a property valuer. There was a person who was handling the accounts for the company that I was working for. Hi, Sarah, if you're listening. I bet she's not, but anyway. And Sarah and that's where I first saw it. Sarah used to literally, she had a clean desk. She was the most tidy person I've ever met. And she would, for each task, she would have she would open up the task and all of the stuff, and then she would have a shutdown ritual for that task, put everything away, and then do the next bit. And so she was like really, really regimented about it. Whereas I was just like a chaotic hot mess and, couldn't juggle and do all that sort of stuff. So that's a very long-winded way of saying I think there's benefit in having that kind of beginning and end process of I'm going to write now, and I'm only going to use this particular device to do it and that sort of thing. But the reality of my life is that there is that bleed crossover that I can't just quite completely separate the two.
Right. I think I'm coming down on the opposite side for this and being after years and years of blending the two and having one device, finally accepting my university, finally letting my university give me a device because I'd resisted that for 10 years. And having separation. So you can't see, but I've got a computer on each side of me. I've got my own machine, which is owned by the company actually now, and I've got a work machine. And I'm happily able to separate out work and non-work stuff because I have to now that we've got the company and it's like more than just a sort of side puddling around gig, I have to be more careful about not using university equipment for generating profit in the company. So I'm very regimented. The one part where the blur is real, and I think even solidifies my two machines hypothesis, is your writing projects. Because your writing continues about whether or not you're in that job or the next one. Like you are a writer. That's your identity. Your writing is your IP, right? And you're writing and you can use it inside AI. You can, or you can republish it. You can use it on your next job. So I think all your writing, your academic writing, should sit on your own machine. And I see my own machine as being like my handbag. I wouldn't give it to my university to manage my handbag. Like They don't know that I need to have, hay fever pills next to a comb, next to, I'm trying to think what's in my bag, moisturising sunscreen, 5 pairs of glasses or whatever. I wouldn't trust
peptides.
Them.
Peptides.
Peptides. They wouldn't know that I need to have that. So they wouldn't pack or manage my handbag correctly. Therefore, I need to have my own computer with my own stuff. And I would always keep my books, my blog, any creative writing of any sort, even academic papers, I keep on my own machine, because as far as I'm concerned, I can give this machine back to my employer, walk away, have it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Take it. People have been marched out of places. I'm hoping that never happens to me. Obviously, I don't want it to happen to me. But also, if someone comes in forensically looking for something, you've got to be transparent, be able to give them the machine. And so, I don't really have a dog in the fight about Claude or ChatGPT, although I am considering getting rid of ChatGPT over their stance over this Pentagon issue, and Claude actually taking some sort of, Anthropic actually taking some sort of moral stance has really made me think, do I just get rid of my ChatGPT the way that I'm getting rid of HBO and Disney and a whole lot of other things? I don't want to be part of the billionaire boy club. I have to be, right? But where you choose to engage with it. So maybe I'm coming back to Claude for ethical reasons. It'll hurt. But Copilot, by the way, also does mundane things pretty well. And if your university supplies it, why pay for ChatGPT? And fun fact, I think ChatGPT, the reason they're entering into this Pentagon arrangement is that they are going to die if the government doesn't bail them out. Fun fact. Yeah. So one day we're going to try and open ChatGPT, it's going to be gone. Same maybe with Claude. The thing that will remain standing is Copilot.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is, I think you've got to protect your own IP, and you've got to think about where your stuff is and what's the walk away proposition. And that's more than even the distraction argument. I think having your own machine for writing is just sensible, tax deductible.
Yeah.
And then also you can keep stuff you don't want your university to see. I don't want them to see my union correspondence, memos and stuff that I write for the union. I have a separate email address. I don't want that on my machine. I don't want them to be able to see it. And all my files on this work machine sit in the cloud. So everything I make, they've got a copy of, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want them to have the copies of my union memos. So, anyway, good talk. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, thanks,
I think
Ben.
great. And a lot of people will be struggling with similar. So interested, write to us. What do you think? How have you managed this divide? Because it is blurry, like you say. It's hard.
Yeah. Speak pipes, Inga. Do you have any? None.
Please send us some speak pipes. By the way, can I say you don't have to use the speak pipe. You can just record on your phone while you're walking the dog and shoot it off to our address, pod@ontherigteam.com.
Yeah.
And we will get it. So, yeah. So that's our mailbag. Good mailbag. Excellent mailbag.
Excellent mailbag. I can actually guarantee that we'll get it now, because I spent a little bit of time yesterday, 2-minute tip, writing out my daily startup protocol for the business, because I realise what I often will do if I haven't been dedicated enough to kind of the night before sit down and write out what my tasks are for the next day, I'll just do whatever bright and shiny thing comes up.
Yeah.
And and that will sometimes mean that I don't do things like look at the pod email address, and so I don't get to see emails and, that sort of stuff. Anyway, I've streamlined that now, and so I have a startup every day. I just get up and I just follow, I just do this, and then do this, then do this, then do this, then do this.
So just one way through what Ben is saying here, if he's got a startup routine that says do not get distracted, go to this, look at this, do this there, then, So if you go to your email, only deal with things you can deal with in 2 minutes, send the rest to your task manager, that kind of routine that you write into your startup routine, then you go the next step. That's methodical. I think that's a good answer if you don't want to have two machines.
Yeah. And you can, I just saw in the news, Apple have released about to release or did release a new machine, like a very cheap student thing, called the Neo or something. I don't know. I haven't looked.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Once I'm not that dialed in. But yeah, that looks like fun.
But Ben, that might be the solution if it's like super cheap but powerful enough to be able to do what you need to do. If you don't have to do video and all that sort of stuff, maybe that's your way in. You could have your own, like Inga does. You could have your own machine that sits off to the side where you do the stuff.
And if you do that, can I put in an argument for having 2 laptop stands so they don't sit on the desk? I know you've got your Star Trek panels set up, but, it's important to have desk space so you can put things under them, right?
Yeah.
Like I set my bullet journal under my computer. It just makes, neat.
Yeah.
I like a neat desk.
You can tell Mr. Thesis Whisperer also that I've come around to the idea of the one big curved screen.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
He'll spec that up for you, by the way. Like he loves to spec a thing. Yeah.
I know. I want to see how we do end the financial year. But whether or not, but yes, I'm getting there.
Okay.
The next bit is our work problems section.
Yes.
Segment. And this is where we talk about any problems that we have solved since the last time we spoke about work problems, whether or not something has come through or not. We focus on one aspect of work and, really just nerd out on it. We sometimes tackle problems we've had at work or discuss the theme suggested by a listener. We always try to be practical, sharing our own tips, hacks, feelings and opinions mushed together. They are valid. Mm-hmm. And this week our topic is a shameless plug on Inga's new book. Inga and Helen and Pat Thomson and Aimee Grant put together a book called Managing Your Research Project, a guide for researchers. Insider Guides to Success in Academia, published by Routledge, part of that series. There's a link in the show notes. And Inga's going to talk about this because she wrote it, so why would I talk about the book? I also note that you haven't sent me a author's free copy. I
haven't got any author's free copies, so
really?
God knows what's happening with that. Bear with me, I'm sharing the screen for YouTube listeners.
Oh, fancy.
They'll be able to see, should you want to, because and see in our red show notes, which is where it's just a note for us to do, I've said, we take a moment to jointly admire how astoundingly ugly the cover of this book is, and we have a brief discussion about 1990s clubber fashion. I am sure I had a bucket hat in this material. So do you want to describe for the pod listeners what you're seeing here with this?
It's a combination of, so it's bright blue, kind of neon-y blue, green, yellow colours. And it's kind of like a mixture between liquid metal Terminator style cartography,
yes,
and like ripples on a lake type thing, and they're all kind of all of these colours merged together in a way that is maybe not all that pleasing to the eye.
Ugly. It's ugly. To top it off, you've got a big bug of the Routledge down in the bottom corner, and you've got, on top of it, a ludicrously large panel to put you could have had more of the back image is all I'm saying. There's a lot of negative space on the panel that says managing a research project, all centered type. A guide for researchers and then our names, but the big black right in the middle of the cover. You'd think prime real estate for a book. There is nothing. It's just a black panel.
Do you think that maybe it was a double, triple suckback maneuver and that actually the publishers are quite clever? Because look at what's happening. We're talking about it now. There's like promotion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
I don't think it's people that clever, but sure.
There's a publisher title page maker dude somewhere, right? And they're like, you know what? You know what'll get people to buy this book? An astoundingly ugly book cover with like
just
ridiculous blank space on
it. And then just have the author talk about how much she hates it. I hate it. Okay? I've learned long ago to disassociate myself from book covers because they always disappoint me, almost inevitably. The next one won't. Actually, the next one's great. This one... Okay. And so we had initially... So... they're doing this series on the cheap, as Routledge always do, and so they've got a limited range of, this is proprietary art. They paid for this.
Yeah.
Okay, and so they gave us a set of swirly, whirly mixy-uppy, Technicolor vomit pictures. Like, choose one between all these equally ugly. And there was one in that initial set that looked like a sort of smoke, like going up. And I'm like, oh, that's got something. Yeah, let's have the smoke one. And then like 5 minutes before production, they're like, oh, actually, that one was mistakenly put there. You can have one of these four. And they were all just excruciating. You know what I did? I picked the ugliest one. I'm like, I just picked that. Because I'm like, at this point, a giant fuck you to the, like...
Lean in.
I mean, I could do a better job in Canva. Routledge, lift your game, okay? Like, the last one was bad. This one is really terrible. And like I say, there's a 90s club fashion kind of... I'm sure I had a T-shirt. Did you?
Yeah.
I think we figured out we used to go to the same club in Greville Street in Melbourne.
Yeah,
Joy.
Revolver.
Did you used to go to Revolver, to Joy and to Revolver? Yeah,
sure.
And we'd wear the bucket hats and we'd do the thing and we'd have the soda and the lollies. You know, that time of our life. Flashbacks. Anyway.
Don't remember.
So, yeah.
There's a reason.
So if we haven't motivated the non-YouTube people to go and have a look at the link we will provide, please have a look and please feel free to comment.
The colour of your book is the same colour as my green Hulk cordial here.
Yeah, your Hulk cordial, your hydration of choice for the pod. So healthy. I'm sure it's healthy. Okay, so just a little bit about this book, because I was not the original generator of this book. This project existed and I was pulled on. Helen, Cara and Pat Thomson have now together edited 20 books in the Insider series. So the other book that I've got in the series is Be Visible or Vanish, which I wrote with Simon Clues. So they're a dynamic publishing duo, and if you've worked with them on this series, you will know that they are like very active. They're not like the kind of editors that go, yeah, write the thing, and then, yeah, that's great. No, they'll read it and they'll tell you what they want and you will do it. So like they are like really good editors, and I don't say that just because they're my friends. I actually introduced them. I'm going to take credit. I was the matchmaker in this beautiful relationship that's gone on. So you're welcome, world, because these books are great. So they'd already been talking with Helen, Cara's collaborator, Aimee Grant, who I've never met in person. We've had 4 Zoom calls and the rest of our relationship is email. But I'm having a great time with Aimee. I feel like Amy's my friend, even though that's all we've done together. And so I went to visit Helen, and Helen kindly put me up overnight. And if anyone ever has the chance to stay with Helen Cara, can I highly recommend. Okay. One of the best hosts, she's just great. Anyway, she had a dressing gown for me. We sat and watched TV. We had a great time. And she was telling me about this book, and I got that nerdish enthusiasm because, I love me some project management, work of my heart, love teaching it because I feel like it's the kind of transformative thing. You and I teach it. In my view, we don't get asked to do it enough. This should be the one that people ask us for, but they always want your writing under pressure, which we love to deliver. But this one is just this is transformational, this stuff with people, because they're suddenly they feel like they come out under a pile of things that they didn't know how to manage, and suddenly they feel, and I get people writing to me years later from these sort of workshops about, so I'm very enthusiastic about it. And so I nerded out enthusiastically to Helen. I said, oh, well, I hope you've got blah, 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 and then blah, blah, blah. And then are you talking about agile waterfall? Are you talking about blah, 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 blah? Because originally an architect, I actually got trained in project management. Yeah. I feel like the skills that I took from my architecture degree into academia are my secret sauce. They didn't translate exactly because they're very different types of contexts, but just time is money. Planning to get to an end point, progress tracking, all of those things so important in architecture because that's where you get the money, right? Yeah. You get the money along the way, so you have to account for what you've done, ask for money, account for what you've done, ask for money. So, I got trained very well in that. And she looked at me blankly and she said, wow, Inga, you know a lot about this. I'm like, yeah, architecture training. She was like, I think we need you on this book. And I'm like, oh, yeah, why not? Another book. This is how it happens, Jason.
Yeah.
And before you
it's
know
not your fault, Inga.
If you note from the author order that I ended up being first author, although the idea from that book is that this is how much I dominated, right? I went in and I'm like... But I hope that my fellow authors see my domination as enthusiasm rather than just know-it-allness, because I really learned a lot from all of them during this book because they brought so many different perspectives. Because Helen is an independent researcher, so she had that point of view of being the kind of gun for hire. Pat Thomson, legendary Pat Thomson from the Patter blog. You all know her. If you don't know her, you should. I'll put some links. She's just, Pat's she must be in her late 60s, early 70s now. She's seen everything, done everything, amazing, feminist, incredible. So she'd managed large kind of creative projects, education projects, and Aimee works in the health space. So she's done that kind of like high risk, very regimented sort of paperwork projects that you have to, get agreement from hospitals and all sorts of things. So we had very different perspectives. And of course, I'd done commercialisation research, which I think I brought that perspective mostly. But I ended up project managing this book about project management. And can I just say, I say this with love, that we didn't always eat our own cooking.
Oh, right, yes.
And towards the end, I'm like, maybe we should start to eat our own cooking because this version control is out of control. And so I kind of took over. And at that point, they were like, Inga, you're number one author, because I managed this full through the publication process, did all the copy editing with, thank you, ChatGPT. It was at times quite rocky, and I had to grit my teeth through getting to the end of this book because the actual writing part of it was a joy. It was the kind of production element, which we don't talk about enough in my view, but it is like quite a lot of work.
Okay,
so they already had it. Yeah.
Sorry, inside baseball, was it Word documents, multiple versions, final.
Yeah, it was final. Yeah, it was that.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I sent you a screen grab at one point, and I was like, oh my
Were
God,
you using different versions? Were each of you using different versions of Word so that in kind of every time you opened it on a different machine, all the formatting got slightly skewed?
Every
just
problem
in a bad
that you
way?
can imagine, Jason, happens in this book in that respect. But the one thing that didn't happen is none of us like precious little flower, you can't touch my words. Like really professional writers are like this. Like, we don't care. We just want to get the job done. And that was an absolute joy. So that was the fun part. And they'd also written a really strong outline. That didn't change very much. I think we changed the order of the chapters, but they already had it. And they, more importantly, they had a philosophy going into it, which they call an ethics of care, and it has papers and all that sort of stuff, and it's talked about in the book. But it's very much our vibe at On the Reg team, right? Like, so, the point of view is your overwork and your disorganisation affects other people, so fucking stop it. And that project management can bring order and routine and stuff to people's lives, and that this is an act of caring. So I strongly agreed with that. And that this isn't boring and doesn't stifle creativity. It actually enables it. And so the book, I think the key difference from other project management books that I've read, and what I haven't read anywhere, is this is bone deep in it. Like, it's feminist, it's centering acts of care, and and it puts that ethics front and centre. So one thing that doesn't appear in the book pretty much at all, except talked about in a kind of risk way, is AI. So I thought we could briefly, and we don't have a lot of time for this because we've natted on so much, but this is what we're here for. This is what you come here for. I thought we'd go through the chapter just briefly, and we could talk about where we would have put AI. Maybe we can do that. I thought we could just riff on where AI could have fitted in this, and where a lot of the bones of this I use in my work, in our workshops. So when as chief maker of things in our company, I bring in, I put workshop decks together and design, well, it's collaborative, but I do a lot of the driving seat stuff with that. Yeah. So we put a lot of the bones of this is in our workshops, but we add the AI spice, which you won't find in this book. So if you want that, hire us for our workshops. And I thought about whether we include it as like pop-out boxes. And I'm like, you know what, it's a moving target. It changes so much. And also the team have very varying ethical stances on AI, and I didn't want to bring that into discussion, so I just left it out other than discussing it as a risk. So it's got 10 chapters, although the conclusion's just, what was in this book, so it's not really a chapter. Yep. We've got, and the introduction's just like setting up our, the introduction's like bios and all that, so it's like a fun little read, and why we wrote the book and stuff. And we've
Can I just interject with a production meeting?
Yes.
Just briefly.
Yeah.
At 1 o'clock, I have a call with a potential client.
So, shit, I didn't realise what the time was.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the clock at the top.
So I'm loving it, but we're on a tight schedule. I know I need 5 minutes before to get changed and stuff.
Yeah, and I actually have things I meant to have done here, which I haven't done.
Okay. So, introduction.
I'll just talk briefly through the chapters. Then maybe we won't have time for much of an AI discussion, but
we can bring it back next episode.
Oh yeah, that's true. So the approaches to project management is the first sort of substantial chapter, and we talk about the difference between standard project management advice and the advice that we offer. And the key difference is that we talk about the discovery mode of projects, right? That you don't know what's going to happen at the end. Therefore, planning sequentially and doing things like waterfall, where you just map out Gantt charts and say, I'm going to spend this long on this and this long on this and this long on this. We talk about why that kind of doesn't work and why you always find yourself falling behind or feeling like you're not making your milestones. And you can often blame yourself for that when really it's the nature of the beast, because the end point is changing. You know, it evolves as it unfolds. And so therefore, the standard advice, and actually the administration that often sits around project management assumes that standard advice. So it'll have a milestone, you're meant to have completed a certain amount of stuff, and you're not meant to have changed what you're going to do. And in fact, you often do. So we talk about all that and the difference between our advice and other advice. In the second chapter about tools, it's really about, how do you manage something like getting things done or waterfall or agile? What are these tools? We talked about it as a kind of a roll your own kind of special, take a bit from all the approaches that suit you. But we weren't allowed to use roll your own in the final book.
Be like Bruce Lee. Take what is useful, discard the rest, right?
That's right. So we call it pick and mix, you pick what you want and you mix it up. The ethics chapter was quite interesting. It's not about writing an ethics approval. So go to other books for that. It's actually about ethics, like how to actually work ethically in the grey that we often find ourselves in. And it could have been a whole book in itself. Almost the weakness of that chapter is it opens so many boxes that you go, tell me more about that, but you can't, you haven't got the space. So it is a good sort of primer for that kind of discussion, and I think will be helpful for supervisors, particularly talking with students, I think.
So from that particular chapter, just one, which box did you open that you found the most interesting, or the one that you probably wanted to write more about? Like, which one stands out for you?
Intercultural communication and doing work in different countries. So there's a story there about a researcher who works for another researcher in a country where the worker was pregnant and visibly pregnant, and the person who was managing her, sort of like, is anyone going to talk about this pregnancy? And tries to bring it up, gets batted away. And because in this culture you don't talk about the baby because, that's bad luck. Right. You just don't talk about it. You wait until the baby's born, then you celebrate the baby, because anything can happen, which I totally understand as a full miscarriage person myself. Totally get that. Sensible, actually, in some ways. Less traumatising. But it meant that they didn't organise the maternity leave because it didn't get asked for.
Ah, right.
Right? Because there's a Western cultural assumption that you organise maternity leave because everyone talks about it. So it's an intercultural communication around ethics when you're working in different contexts is really a huge topic. And it's Helen's main bag, so I found that I learned a lot. I edited the whole book, so I learned a lot from editing that. I didn't contribute in any substantial way except to ask dumb questions, which is sometimes useful. Time management is like the more of the us part of the book. If we were writing the book, it would have been just all this stuff. So I find it quite brief, too brief. But it's like it touches on everything you need to know. The only thing I really added to, Aimee did this chapter, the initial draft, and I just added stuff around PERT calculations, which we've talked about in the past. But then there's one on managing relationships. It's sort of about teamwork and managing teams and HR inside universities. Again, there was so much you could say. You could write a whole book on this, but Pat drafted this. She's the oldest, wisest, managed the most people, took the lead. But we all added really different perspectives to that, and I thought that really benefited from the multi-author approach. As did the next chapter on money administration, where Pat, as the person who managed the most actual dollars in grants over her years, took the lead. But it ended up being like this really group effort. Although Pat could talk so well to that kind of why the university takes money from your budget to manage your money. And in fact, I knew that, but I understood it more thoroughly after Pat's description of that, and actually building in that cost to, and not having the embarrassing situation that I've had where suddenly you have to go back to the client and say, we can't do that job because actually I didn't calculate in that my university wants 30%. And I'm like, what are they taking 30% for? And then Pat points out all the things that they do for you. But also then paying other contractors, commercialisation money, I brought that to that. So that ended up being really interesting, much more interesting than you think. And it's also an area that people shy away from because money is boring and complicated and difficult to talk about. So if you've ever been really confused by money in a project, it's great. I think that's a really I learned a lot, and I think it's really good to have it out in the world. I wrote the chapter on raising profile because I'm your social media poster girl, and I was like, don't do social media. So that was my main message there. It's a waste of time. I talk about websites, but also talk about managing your manager, doing internal PR to keep the kind of keep preserving the time that you've got to do this project, enlisting other people, stakeholder engagement stuff that we talk about a lot, except we didn't use the word stakeholder in this book. Interested people, because that was part of the ethics of this book, but it's all that stuff. And then managing safety and risk, which actually ended up being really interesting again. That's the only one place where I talked about AI explicitly, but talking about backups, data, managing, sharing data, managing the sensitivities around that. Again, but talking about it in a management frame rather than what you have to do. It's like all the problems you encounter trying to kind of, and the safety of people as well. And there's a few harrowing stories in there. And we did start off, originally in the original outline of the book, they wanted to do these sort of fake stories where they kind of bring the concepts to life. I'm assuming that's young Jack again, beeping at you. Yeah. Whereas in this book, I convinced the others that we just should write about our experiences. So every now and then we break into a story like when Inga was doing the post-act project, this and this and this happened. So we used that. So I really like that. I love this book.
Despite its cover.
The cover's so bad, and I say that because everything inside the cover it's actually great. Like I started off, I was a bit sceptical of it at times, as you are about your own writing and your own stuff. And because I had to edit it multiple times, I think there's just some great stuff in here, and I'd say that not to toot my own horn, but just like my collaborators are so fantastic, and the joint years of experience, just a great project to be involved with. So we won't talk about AI and what we would have written because we don't have time, but hopefully some of you will think to pick it up and give it a read. And it's designed for people doing their PhD, but also for anyone working on research projects anywhere. People who have to teach it, and supervisors to help other people manage things. But if you never go near a student, you're just a working academic and you only work research projects, or even if you're doing teaching, I think that there's just the tools and concepts in here will really help bring that, like, why do I always seem so bad at managing projects? Why do I always feel behind? Why do I feel like I've never got this? It'll explain why you always feel like that. It won't necessarily stop you feeling like that. It'll give you lots of strategies like we do in our work. But it'll also contextualise all that advice, because there is a kind of project management literature which we went into and read for the book. And it's a bit, I don't want to call it project management bros, but it is a bit project management bros. Like it sort of treats project management as somehow devoid of actual people and conflict and all that kind of stuff, whereas we just go straight for that. And I think it's a stronger book for it. So that's my pitch. It really ended up being a shameless plug. There you go. It wasn't a work problems. It was a shameless plug segment.
I just recalling, I mean, everyone's going to have their own stories about their own projects and when they go off the rails. But looking at the titles of each of the chapters here, there's that interesting, of course, I'm a big tool fan. I like to use tools. I think they're useful, if for no other reason than they sometimes make visible the invisible work of projects.
Exactly. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
So tools for project management and then managing relationships were of the two topics in that list. I remember a project where I was invited into the project to help, and I took control of the project management part of it. And I tried to introduce the other project people to a tool called Basecamp.
Yes, I've used Basecamp. Actually, in political organising, yeah.
Right. So great tool, really helpful, like great for communication, all that sort of stuff. Do you know what? Just fell apart because, and the single most reason that it fell apart is because the other people didn't want to learn a new tool.
Yeah.
And so what they did is that they stuck to their old approach to doing work, which was, even though they had this great tool that would have kind of streamlined everything, kept everybody on the same page, made people aware of what's happening, all of that sort of stuff, they just would not pick it up. And it was like, I don't have time to do this, blah, 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 blah. And so we did it the old, like the way, by email and bumping into people in the corridor and, like, oh my God.
I do know. Yeah, I do know. And we talk about that in the book. Like, we're like, this is a key problem in project management is like, and so we talk about how, yes, you can invest in a system, but you've got to get everyone on board to use it or else it's a giant waste of time. And you'll be up being the person managing it. I think of our ClickUp system, right? Like, I'm invested in that because I understand that. But if I came into that cold and I wasn't invested and it wasn't my company, it's a lot. It's kind of confronting. It's visually a lot of clutter. It's a whole new thing to learn. And there's that well-known phenomenon of shadow systems that people hack to follow finances and all that. So we talk about all of that. So I think what really distinguishes this book is it's real talk. It's not abstractly project management. It's like, here's what's really fucked about it.
Yes.
and if nothing else, you'll feel seen reading it.
That's so on brand for us, right? Like, it's
Isn't it? I know, like you and I could have, But if you and I had written this book, it would have been totally different. It would have been all sort of tools focused, right? So I still feel like that book remains to be written. Yeah. That's tool focused. I feel like that chapter is too short. But anyway, hopefully people will like it. We're going to skip our book section, I'm assuming. I haven't read a book, as I've already said. I bought some. Yeah, so great. I aim to read them by next time.
To be read. I'm picking up, I think I've told you, the Jack Reacher series.
Yes.
Of books. Yeah, so I'm into the next one now. And I went home to see my folks and opened up the bookcase, which is actually in a cupboard, so you can't see it. Not like yours, which is like, here are all the books, let's pick one off the shelf. It's like you have to go into a wardrobe to find it. But bugger me, my dad has been reading the Jack Reacher series as well. So, and he's like, I said to him, can I take this book back with me back to Melbourne? And he's like, I'm rereading everything in there, and once I've read it, I'm throwing the book away.
So you're just going to inherit them?
No, he's like, just reads the book, chucks it in the bin.
No, get out.
Yeah. He's not hardcore, my old man, right?
Dude. I have so many thoughts and feelings, but we don't have time to unpack them.
I've rescued one Jack Reacher book from the trash can.
Just get him to send them to you in the post. Come on. It's going to be nice father-son bonding. Okay. 2-minute tips.
We'll talk 2-minute tips. We'll talk about books next time. Our 2-minute tip section is the segments in honour of David Allen and his classic Getting Things Done book. I am the chief of Getting Things Done in our little business. I have a business card to prove it. Yes. Allen argues that if a task will take less than 2 minutes to complete, you should do it then and there, because it'll take longer than 2 minutes to capture it in your task management thing, to do it, mark it, to complete, blah, 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 blah. But really, this section is where we get a chance to nerd out about a hack or an idea that we've had that we think will help you lead a more balanced life in your work and non-work lives. Other podcasts would do this right at the front. Right at the top, Inga.
Fools.
Yes. But no, we'd leave it right at the end as a treat. Delicious yogurt, as Nigel would call it.
Nigel would say delicious yogurt, yeah.
Nigel would say delicious yogurt. Yeah. And we leave it right at the end. So anyway, here's my 2-minute tip for the episode. And this, at the minute, I've done trouble with colour here. Is this you?
I've written in a bit that I had a 2-minute tip.
Right, you've come in over the top. I had this.
I know, but I just they had this whole glide path.
Anyway, you've got a 2-minute tip,
and it'll take 1 minute.
Right.
We talk a lot in our workshops about AI and transparency, and about keeping logs of your AI. Should you need to be transparent later on for your university, for a publisher, and I have run into this exact situation. Okay, and Jason, I'm here to report to you that I fucked up.
Uh-oh.
So you know how we talk a lot about keeping all the logs of your chats so that you can always account for blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
I do that, right? Never delete a log. Do I organise those logs? No. Did I have the lawyer for the publisher for How to Fix Your Academic Writing Trouble get on my back about exactly how many words ended up in the new edition? Okay. Side note, the old edition had a lot of J.K. Rowling examples, Professor Severus Snape, blah, blah, blah. And, we use these examples in our text examples, right? J.K. Rowling, well-known transphobe. Both of us, me and Catherine, who are now the main authors, transphobes can, not here for it. So I want to take J.K. Rowling out and replace it with Lord of the Rings references, because Sean, our original co-author, had a few Lord of the Rings examples. So I thought we'll just make them more consistent. Not a huge Lord of the Rings fan. You know who knows a lot about Lord of the Rings? ChatGPT.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say the lawyer.
Vast reams of Lord of the Rings stuff. So when I wanted an example of this left and right branching syntax using Elvish something or other, it would do this dumb made up example that they're fun, right?
Yeah.
The lawyer wanted me to locate all the prompts that I used and the exact text that came out of the prompts. Now, look, the lawyer had obviously never fucking used, sorry, I'm dropping the F-bomb because it just fucking annoyed me, never used AI in their life. So they're like, I want the prompts and the output. I'm like, have you used it though? Do you know that you talk to it? Do you know that you add things to it? Do you know that you can have multiple conversations? I sent them a conversation, said, where is the prompt in here that you want me to? And they're like, oh. And I'm like, how many prompts would you like me to include? Because this is if you print it out, it might be 50 pages of conversation. Would you like all 50 pages to be published? Because they wanted to publish all the prompts in the book. I'm here for the transparency, but that is ridiculous. You clearly do. And then I had this whole snippy, the lawyers clearly never used AI, just making work for themselves. Well, anyway, I was snippy. And I obviously caused a whole bomb to go off inside the publishing house because I got read into a few of the... Anyway, it's the whole thing. But in the end, I was like, okay, I will show you the log of every chat that I had with it. I will describe what happened in the log, and I will show you how many words ended up in the main book. Fun fact... Through the whole 60,000 word book, 700 words. Come at me, bro. Wow. Also, by the way, ChatGPT ate my blog, 1 million words of my work.
Yeah.
I have proof that it ate it. So whose copyright is whose? Why are we even here doing this? Anyway, this is to say, my 2-minute tip being, if you're writing a book and you're using ChatGPT, make a project.
Yeah.
Do all your chats within that project. Don't go down to the side and try and find every chat you had. That way lies madness and many hours. That's all I've done work-wise in the last couple of months, and it has been killing me. Make a project. Okay, that's my 2-minute tip.
Okay, it's a good one.
Now, this is, by the way, is this sent in by a listener? And this is a whole new thing for our 2-minute tips where we could start outsourcing them because that is genius.
Right. We have got 6 minutes before I have to pull the plug.
Yes.
So I'm going to race through this super quick.
Yeah.
My 2-minute tip has been sent in to us by Rebecca Stevens. I love this.
Please send us your 2-minute tips. This is a whole
Please send them in. Yeah. Please send them, because this is the hardest bit of our podcast. Is what are we doing?
Yeah. Okay, read it out.
So Rebecca writes, good morning. I have a 2-minute tip to share with a smiley emoji. Yay, we love this. A few months ago, I started a fabulous new job in government. I was wallowing in self-pity because although the job is perfect in many ways, my computer is locked down and cannot install Text Expander. I use a lot of repetitive snippets in this job and had resorted to a Word document from which I could copy and paste. Like like a bloody savage, Rebecca. That is.
I know, living like an animal. Living like an animal.
Text Expander. We love it.
Yeah.
By the way, side note, we've written a book about Text Expander. Should you want to buy
In
it,
the show notes,
head over to the Thesis Whisperer blog and you can find a link there. Maybe even.
Yeah, it's in the show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Click through.
Rebecca writes, last week I had a revelation. The system we used is web-based and Chrome is not locked down. So I can install the Text Expander Chrome plugin. My golly gosh, it works. It works so well. I am back to using Text Expander for all the good stuff and have built out a new snippet library. I have started accessing web-based Word and Outlook as well, which means I'm back to using Text Expander for everything. I'm so very happy. Yes, and so very efficient. So if your employer has locked down your computer, do not despair. There is an alternative.
Wow.
While on the subject of 2-minute tips, the last episode reminded me of the newsletter. I was sure I'd signed up, but have not received anything in a long time. I cannot find the show notes to link to resubscribe. Could you please post the dummy version so I can get my quick shot of delicious yogurt treat? Love the pod. Continue to be a dedicated listener, even though I left academia during COVID. The discussion and tips are just as relevant on the outside. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca, so much. And regarding the newsletter, I will refer you to my T-shirt.
It is. You have a lot going on at the moment.
I have a lot going on at the moment. And it's one of the things that's fallen sadly between the cracks. But I will. You've reinvigorated me to do it. So thank you, Rebecca. Please send in your 2-minute tips. This is genius. I think this should be alternate mailbag. I'm here for it. I'd step out of the 2-minute tip space. Yeah.
Because of Rebecca's 2-minute tip, I went to Chrome and then installed the Text Expander Chrome extension.
Bloody hell. I can see how that'd be useful for forms and stuff.
Right. Really good. So, yeah, can recommend. Would eat here again, 5 stars.
Great. Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah. Genius. Yeah. Okay, outro. Let's do it.
That's us. Like, we're out. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
We love reviews. Inga was going to read out some old reviews, but next time maybe. If you leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Inga has finally figured out how to find them. And we promise to read it out. Yeah. We do. Just scroll down to your podcast player and get typing. While you're in there, give us a review. 5 stars only, please. We don't like anything less than that. Thank you.
Yes. And by the way, on YouTube, you can hype us. I hear that helps. If you leave a comment, if you like, if you subscribe, makes a big difference to our YouTube channel. Because I've been watching a lot of YouTube and everyone says that, so I'm saying it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent. If you want your question featured on the show mailbag, you can leave us a voice message at www.speakpipe.com//thesis whisperer, or you can email us at pod@ontherregteam.com. I'm having a break from the socials, but you can still find Inga as @Thesis Whisperer pretty much everywhere except for X. Definitely not on X. And, of course, you can find her at thesiswhisperer.com as well.
And also, you run our LinkedIn account, though. We should amend that. So if you want
I do. We have a LinkedIn. We have a page on LinkedIn.
He does the LinkedIn. Yeah.
Where you can see our little logo.
Yeah. If you're not looking at YouTube, you can see a picture of us.
Yeah, yes. I've updated it. It costs us about $1,000 a year. I know, because I'm now seeing all the bills and paying all of the bills to produce this podcast. If you want to support our work, you can sign up to the Riding the Bus membership on Ko-Fi. That's KO-FI. There's a link in the show notes for about just for a minimum $2 a month.
Love it.
And
thank you.
And thank you. It does make a huge difference because every month, Riverside, they just take the money,
they do.
As do a few others as well.
Riverside alone is $1,000, so it's actually more. Yeah. I don't feel happy about it.
No. By the way. Thank you so much. All of that really helps. We love it when you write to us and put speak pipes in. More, please. And with that, Inga, I've got to go because I've got a meeting in 2.5 minutes.
Goodbye. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.